distortions. They can't portray enough empty spaces. Time to rust and dust. There's no wonder left for us to love. No warmth or shelter, just satellites above. All the shots, bring it back to what it's like. Make a move, do what we do. As the world cries tears in our hands, are we all part of a bigger plan? Call the shots, bring it back to what it's
The sun is setting, don't trust your hearing. You made a monster, I'm your imposter. Go ahead and wander, but don't trust the water. I'm a member of the deep.
We head down under to the Phillip Island circuit for race meeting number 5 of the World Touring Car Series. My name is Connery Medic, and as ever, I'm joined by the wonderful Peter Mackay for this evening's broadcast. Drivers are out there getting themselves their last couple of moments of qualifying in before we get ourselves into our first race of 3 today. We're back. It's the World Touring Car Series here. Peter always delivers the excitement, and what excitement we had last time out at the Glen.
It was fantastic, wasn't it? Watkins Glen on the basically the NASCAR layout, the classic layout, no chicane, no boot, and it was about as close to a super speedway as we could get, and it was some fantastic tactical racing with some very exciting finishes. The last race, goodness me, going down right down to the wire, and now we're here down under Phillip Island, just south of Melbourne, and for me, this is one of the greatest racetracks in the world on 2 or 4 wheels.
It is absolutely fantastic. A bit of a roller coaster, but we'll be heading into that a little bit later on. Here is where we are in the season, round number 5, getting towards that halfway point of the season. Drivers starting to get a little bit of a better picture as regards to where they lie in terms of the championship order. Next week, we will be heading to Italy. We'll be heading to Imola before we head to our street circuit of Detroit Belle Isle directly, well, 2 weeks after that. So those are going to be some interesting circuits on the horizon. We head all the way down to Fuji Speedway, which is going to be round number 12, race meeting number 12, and our final race meeting of the season. But without further ado, let's head on into the point situation then. We've been keeping very good track of them over the course of the season. And, well, it's only been telling us one thing here, Peter. Quentin Guinez, by far and away, the runaway performer in this series so far.
Yeah, he is. And that definitely has been the narrative of the series. And that's just built race on race. You know, he is absolutely the gold standard in this championship. He missed out narrowly on the championship last season, and he is doing everything to put that score right and in style.
Yep, he did. And, well, Steen Ledger gets himself up into second place at the end. Well, in this situation here for Pure Sims Esports, this is Pure Sims Esports 2 and 3 with Ross McFarlane in P3. That's mostly due to Ross not taking part in the event at Watkins Glen. So he'll take that as his drop event. We'll get more into that later on in the season as we try to break out the calculators with regards to championship situations. Kieran Harrison and Morgan Butler will round out the top 5 in terms of the pro standings. Well, those are the pro standings. Let's head on into the AM standings then, where it's Stephen Daly that leads that one with 468 points compared to Stefan Schlacker's 425 points. This one much, much closer than in the Pro Championship. Mark Johnson not too far behind either in 3rd place with Ben Gregory and Lee Berridge rounding up the top 5 in that one. So, well, at least the lead is much, much closer here in AM between Daly and Schlacker. And of course, we had a few movements with regards to who is in which category coming into this one, which, you know, drivers were hoping wasn't going to spoil any sort of championship situations. But it seems like everyone's kind of happy with the situation. And we've got Harry Fox moved from Pro to AM. Adam Tompkins moved from Pro to AM. So a couple of Pro drivers actually getting demoted down to AM. Well, demoted is a bit of a harsh way to put it. But that's just the situation that we're given. But no AM drivers have been promoted up into the Pro class.
Yeah, it shows that the organisers got it spot on, more or less, just to get a start with. And, you know, talking during the week, I mean, I know that Stefan Schlacker, he's up for this AM fight with Stephen Daly, and they're very close on points and they're very close on pace as well. It's going to be fascinating to watch that AM class, see how they get on, and as we run through the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, here's just a quick recap of the teams because we are coming towards the end of the qualifying now. DKC by SimRC, again, had, well, quite a margin between themselves and Pure Sims Esports for the moment. And, well, the other Pure Sims car, the SimLab car, also in 3rd place, quite far adrift of the front two. So the story has been and seems like it will continue to be, Peter, the DKC by Sim Racing T3 cars and the Pure Sims Esports cars that are going to be the ones going at loggerheads in the second half of the season once we get to it.
Yeah, it seems so. And what's really cool as well is that the SimRC team, they've decided to go along with the Hyundai Veloster, and Pure Sims, they've gone to the Honda Civic Type R. Of course, SimRC are a new outfit, certainly at the front of the field this season. Pure Sims did take the honours last time in the season 1, and so they've switched from the Hyundai Elantra to the Honda Civic. So it's cool that we've got 2 cars as well fighting at the front of the pack.
So those are the pictures up there on circuit then. The well, checkered flag is indeed out in terms of qualifying at the moment. So drivers will be taking the opportunity to be able to complete their final laps of qualifying. There's Nathan Armet there, currently 3rd place in the qualifying order. Just getting towards the end of his lap now. It's a 136.319 to beat at the very top of the order. Ross McFarlane returning to the series after his 1 event break. Nathan Armour's heading his way across the line. What's the time going to be? 1:36.883 there. No improvements. Jamie Rushworth, 10th place in qualifying at the moment, getting a decent toe of the car ahead. That's going to be important when it comes to the race as well, especially due to the very, very long front straight that we have here at Phillip Island. But Jamie Rushworth working together well with his teammates to be able to put the best lap time here. 1:36.802 is his best. 1:36.752 there for Jamie Rushworth is an improvement, but only nets him one position.
The big story is championship leader Corentin Guinness is not even in the top 10 at the moment. In 11th position in the 888 car, 0.6 of a second off the pace. Corentin Guinness, if he's got anything left, he has to do it now. The checkered flag's out. Is he on a lap? I'm not sure.
No, he isn't. He's not even out there here, Peter. So that's a bit of a surprise as far as qualifying is concerned. We've, we've seen Guinness putting great qualifying, great performance after great qualifying performance, multiple pole positions to his name already. However, it has not gone his way this time around. Outside of the top 10 is where he starts for race number 1. Ooh, let's see his progress. Well, if there's one driver that can work his way through a field, Peter, it will be Guinness. We saw that at the Glen.
That we did, didn't we? Yes, he's won from that position on the grid before, albeit not in race 1. That's going to be harder to get through the field, with the field being in kind of pace order, if you like. That's a big story here. Is it that just Guinness is not a fan of Phillip Island, or is there something else afoot there that is really not like him?
Hopefully he'll come in for an interview and we can have a chat about it. But here's the starting grid for race number 1. Then Ross McFarlane on his return to the series takes pole position, with Bram van Putten getting himself a front row as well. Again, it's sort of a bit of a mixed up grid here, with names towards the top of the order that we don't necessarily always see. We see Nathan Armour there in 3rd place, with Steen Ledger in 4th. Jürgen Frank in 5th, with Kieran Harrison starting in 6th place here today. Esteban Rodriguez starts in 7th, with Miguel Freitas in 8th. Jamie Rushworth starts 9th, with Alex Torres in 10th. Corentin Guinness, championship leader, starts in P11, with James Holman in P12. Dominic Horton will start in P13, with Stefan Schlacker in 14th place. And then you've got Benjamin Gregory in 15th. Stolzenberg 16th, Turner 17th, and Sebula in 18th. Neil Ferrier will start in 19th, with Lloyd Rabia in P20. Daniel Martin in P21, with Marcel Fritsch P22. Matthew Bunn will start 23rd, with Paul Smith in 24th. Lee Berridge in 25th, with Harry Fox in 26th, with Neil Stevenson in P27, Michael Blake P28, Nick Clibbins P29, Carl Johnson P30. Craig Williams will start in P31, with Damon Owen Harris in P32, Pete Newman, Wojciech Savidovic, Morgan Butler, and Jake Blackwell will bring things down to P36. And you got Adam Watson, Sam Smith, Stephen Daly, and Scott Malcolm at the very back of the starting grid. Lots of non-qualifiers here, from Damon Harris in P32 and back. Did not get themselves a qualifying lap in, either due to, well, they weren't able to get one in, or they got penalties to serve. But the gridding procedure underway, just a couple of seconds away from getting ourselves the green flag here at Phillip Island for the World Touring Car Series. It's Ross McFarlane on pole position. Bram van Putten, with his best qualifying performance so far, starts on the front row as well. And Bram Putten gets himself a very, very good start. Gets that runner speed over the Pure Sims car of Ross McFarlane. An attempt around the outside at turn number 1. Such a high-speed corner. You don't tap the brakes whatsoever here, especially on the first lap. And well, Nathan Armour is on the outside looking in, but there's been a big, big wreck at the very back of the field. Cars spun across the circuit. There's one of the Team Mad cars involved in that one. That is Michael Blake, a Team Mad. There's been more cars off as well. I just saw a car go off right in the background, at least of my screen. Pete Newman also seemingly having issues, but we do continue on here as they head their way onto the brakes into Honda, turn number 4 for the first time.
Yeah, double pain there for Team Mad. Paul Smith involved in that incident. I think it was Scott Malcolm as well in his car. So yeah, not a great start for those up the back. A bit of a skittle job, but Bram van Putten has made his way into the lead. Ross McFarlane is now back into the clutches of the Sim RC Hyundais. He's going to need the help from his teammate Steen Ledger there with the similarly painted Honda with the purple mirrors on that machine.
Yeah, Yeah, Van Putten has, well, got himself away very well here as we look further back in the order. Oh, this is the downhill section now in towards that very tricky corner of turn number 10. Well, tight corner, downhill in the braking zone as well, as we see a big cluster here back in the pack, involving one of the, well, that is the Craig shot car of the man himself, Craig Williams, embroiled in a massive fight here with Matt Bunn, Adam Watson and Wojciech Savidovic here down outside of the top 20 through the final corner. Lots of cars actually getting themselves very wide. Matthew Bunn out into the gravel. There are a couple more ahead of him as well.
Matt Bunn, of course, had a super day at the office a week ago at Watkins Glen, and yeah, I think he's just cleaning his tyres off there after going very wide on the exit of turn 12 and onto the long Gardner Straight, the long run down towards Doohan Corner as they come through the southern loop here as well. Lots of shuffling around, lots of overtaking going on as well as the drivers jostle for position. So right on board with Morgan Butler heading down through Casey Stoner Corner and down towards the Honda hairpin for the second time, and McFarlane, he's really rallied again. He's putting the pressure on Bram Van Putten once again. As Ledger, is he going to make the way around the outside there? Whoa, with the newcomer Ames. No, not quite, but asking the questions.
Yeah, and well, Ames keeping himself in third place for the moment. Here's the onboard with Kieran Harrison in one of the Sim RC cars. That's he's gonna well attempting. Oh, there's been a contact ahead of him. Nathan Ames off the circuit and into the gravel. That's not what you want, at least on your debut race of this season. And I think it was just Steen Ledger getting into the back of him, punting him around. And he's very lucky that no one else was collected in that one. Kieran Harrison was able to get through by the skin of his teeth with basically no contact.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That will not go down well. Of course, the two top teams, Pure Sims and Sim RC, really playing for keeps here. And yeah, Ledger, yeah, effectively putting Ames off the circuit there. But as they go side by side down toward Doohan Curve, big bravery required. It's named after the right guy, that's for sure. 5-time world champion for Repsol Honda. But McFarlane goes through then, so he reclaims the lead from Bram Van Putten and got a great run out the final corner there, Connery, and really set that move up nicely into Doohan. It's a very popular move on 2 wheels, and was showing you can do it on 4 as well.
Yeah, indeed he can, but Van Putten sticking his nose down the inside again. We got more cars off in the back, and lots of the people having trouble, it seems, in the early stages here of this event. But back towards the race lead. McFarlane still holding on to that race lead. Van Putten giving him a very good run for it at the moment. Of course, he led the early stages of this one, and well, it seems like these two are going to go at it for the 16 minutes that we have left remaining here. At least that's what I get the feeling of. Steen Ledger's currently trying to fend off Kieran Harrison further behind as well. It's tricky to know where to look here, considering they're fighting at the front, they're fighting in the middle, they're fighting at the back. You know, you just point your camera at something, there's going to be a fight.
Well, looking at the AM class, Stefan Schlacker started on AM class pole, but has dropped a couple of positions to Ben Gregory, who just missed out on that pole position. So Gregory leads in the AM class in a very strong 12th overall, as Schlacker just gets shuffled back to 15th overall. And it's so easy to lose momentum here at Phillip Island. If you just get put offline, you really pay for it many corners later. So let's have a look then and see what happened. Paul Smith there in the Hyundai Veloster Team Mad, his teammate. Oh, it's just one big domino effect. It's very hard to apportion any kind of blame there. It's just too many cars on too little tarmac.
Yeah, indeed, and spinning out into the gravel they go. There are certain places, for example, on the exit of Doohan, that if you do go far enough, then you end up coming back onto the circuit at turn 3, and that would be the worst case scenario with the pack trying to come through on them. So thankfully they were able to stop before any of that sort of situation happened. But back to the live pictures then, as oh, actually we'll go for another replay. There's the wrecking ball coming in, so to speak, and I don't mean that in a derogatory fashion. It's just that's carrying too much speed into the corner, putting off one of the RD Sim Sports cars.
Yeah, that was Neil Ferrier getting hit by I think it was the Honda of Matt Bunn. So, and yeah, at pace as well, as you rightly said, Connery, as well. Good start from Jürgen Frank in the number 76 as well there. Oh, that's a replay of Steen Ledger helping Nathan Ames off the circuit. And the thing is here, on one side there is lots and lots of runoff at Phillip Island, which is good for keeping your damage off the car. The problem is it takes forever to get back on the circuit again.
And then you might end up getting lost, like Kimi Räikkönen at Interlagos.
Yes.
Try and drive down an access road and wonder where you are. But yeah, that is that is one of the situations that can happen here across the start-finish line. These guys go. You see that big leading train that's going on for the moment. Down to, I would count Benjamin. Well, if I count Benjamin Gregory in it, I count on it a quarter minute. So it's kind of around about 13 cars long. Is this leading train at the moment? Slight gaps appearing in between them, but the draft will keep them relatively in the same postcode here. We're seeing a little bit of a situation back in the back, and it's sometimes a little bit scrappy through some of these corners, especially with these cars, given their front-wheel drive. So they're putting the drive forces through the front tires, and they're putting the large amount of the cornering forces through the front tires as well. And when you have long, sweeping, medium to high-speed corners like Phillip Island has, it's just going to absolutely murder those front tires.
Stefan Schlacker dropping a few more positions. Oh, and another SimRC car off. Is it Van Putten? Van Putten's in the wall and he's lost his rear wing. Oh dear. What happened there? That's at Siberia.
Oh, it's Ledger again. He's not going to be on the best side of the stewards today, I would have thought, is Steen. Although, this one is a little bit more forgiving, as there was a little bit of contact before it. So it will show on the replay here. As there's Van Putten side by side with Steen Ledger. I think Ledger, just a little bit of a bit of contact there that then sends him up over the curb. He tries to save the car, but in the process of doing so, tags Van Putten around, and Van Putten, with severe damage to that rear end, is having trouble keeping him on the circuit.
And Mr. Stealth himself, Corentin Guinness, where did he start? 11th. He's up to 2nd all of a sudden. We haven't mentioned him all race. He has got an invisibility cloak on that SimRC Hyundai. I think Van Putten needs to tow this. This is dangerous.
Yeah, he almost took out a car there. So yeah, I think in the interest of safety, he's going to have to take that tow back to pit lane. Well, I guess we're in the sim, so it's not necessarily safety, but it's about keeping other drivers in the race without any damage. And so that would be the course of action that I would take. But looking back to the field, it's that Freitas Rodriguez potentially having a little bit of a battle further back. They've got Jürgen Frank ahead of them, James Holman behind. No shortage of overtaking opportunities here in this circuit.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. It's great to do a one-lap hot lap because it's so quick and there's just wonderful flow to it. But yeah, great opportunities to set up overtaking maneuvers as well, and lots of the drivers taking that opportunity as well. A little bit further back, Morgan Butler, 16th in the Pro Class, battling away with one of the other Pure Sims cars. I think that's Jake Blackhall, who starting nearer from the back of the pack. Yes, it is the 97 Pure Sims Honda. Well, so they've got a lot of work to do from there, but it's all going very swimmingly in the AMP class for Ben Gregory, 11th overall. And he's just kept his nose clean, and he's in a great position with half race distance to score himself some really strong points for that AMP championship.
Yeah, was the 3rd place, I want to say, in terms of AMP championship. No, he's 4th place in AMP championship at the moment. So a very, very good points haul potentially from this first race of 3 at Phillip Island. Remember, once we get this race done, we'll set up another server with a reverse grid based off of a random number generator. So random reverse grids here in this series. So you can't play the sort of the shenanigans of trying to finish in a certain position to benefit from the reverse grid if you know it's a top 10 or top 15. It encourages the drivers to just try their best in every single race instead of trying to drop back to benefit from the reverse grid. But more fighting going on in that leading pack.
Corentin Guinness is on an absolute charge here. He's 0.2 of a second quicker than McFarlane last time by. His best lap of the race is 0.3 of a second quicker than McFarlane. So they've got a little bit of lap traffic up ahead as well. McFarlane is the next car, and Guinness is looking very, very racy indeed. So could Corentin Guinness potentially win this race from 11th on the grid? That's something we haven't seen in race 1 on the qualified grid order for quite some time. And well, we're running out of superlatives for Corentin Guinness and his performances, but the qualifying will remain a mystery for now, Conrad, because that is, there's got to have been there's definitely a story there, because with this pace, there's no way he would have qualified all the way down there on raw pace.
Well, Ross McFarlane was pole with a 1:36.319. Corentin Guinness, his best qualifying lap was a 1:36.95. That is,
it's quicker than that.
Yeah, he's gone quicker than that in this race, I think. Actually not quite, but obviously track conditions.
Was he 36.9 in qualifying?
36.95, yeah.
But he's 36.6 in this race.
36.6. Oh,
yeah, he's 10 quicker in the race. So I think that evidence would suggest something went wrong in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe he crashed and then he can't rejoin.
Potentially. He definitely wasn't out and about in the late stages of qualifying, was he? So that might have been the situation there. Of course, you have to come back to the pits under your own power. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if he had an instant that he had to take the tow and therefore couldn't have rejoined. But 7.5 minutes left to go here. Here's Daniel Martin. 7th in the AM class at the moment for RD Simsports well, they're listed as team number 2. I swear at one point they were ahead of their sister car in terms of the team's championship at some point. Yeah, they were in the last race. It was only at Watkins Glen did the main RD Simsports team actually get ahead of their sister team.
Yeah, they've certainly had quite a presence, the RD Simsport team, in their black and pink Hyundai Elantras, and Adam Watson ever using all the most creative lines. Around the outside he goes at Lukey Heights, and up the inside for MG. That's a wonderful move. Adam Watson's been watching his old MotoGP videos before this, because that's a Rossi special, that move. That's a very, very nice move there from Adam Watson. He really can pull off some superb overtaking manoeuvres in that little Honda. He does also in the World GT Championship, which we have here on RaceSpotTV on Monday nights, in his Alpine Esports Audi.
Yeah, fantastic stuff indeed. And I had the luxury of commenting on one of those World GT, well, the actual GT Championship events instead of just the touring cars. So yeah, it's great to see him doing wonderful things in both series. But here's Jürgen Frank attempting to, well, cause Stijn Ledger a little bit of a problem. It's been an interesting race for both the Pure Sim and the Sim RC cars, especially with Guinness working his way through the field. You know, of course, you know, his own moves has contributed to that, but it's mostly been his teammates getting taken out of the race that has promoted him up the order here. So, I mean, you take what you can get in this situation. It's not ideal, of course, but either way, second place, not to be sniffed at, potentially first by the time we have the final 5.5 minutes over and done with. But with the onboard here with Jürgen Frank, let's see what he's able to do from 5th place. He's, well, got a potential podium on the cards here if he can plan all the right moves.
It'll be interesting to see what the lap times are here as well. It does seem as if Ross McFarlane has steadied the ship a little bit. He was 0.003 of a second quicker than Guinness last time by. What is it going to be this time as they come over the line with just over 5 minutes to go in this motor race? And McFarlane dropping another 10. So Guinness is just chipping away at it, and he's got cover as well. He's got his teammate Kieran Harrison right behind. You can see there as well the rear of the car really skating around. It gets so light in that corner, just tapping the brake there to get the car under control as well. Corey, fantastic insight there.
Lovely. And well, where's this gonna, well, you know, we know that the teammates do tend to be allowed to race here, and Corentin Guinness, so far ahead in the championship, might be might just be told here, well, Kieran Harrison's trying to fight you for position here. You know, you're far ahead enough in the championship that's not massive concern. Why not go at it? You know, Ross McFarlane is, you know, as a result, trying to run away at the very front of this field. If he can break the draft here, then that will help him a lot in the final couple of laps to make sure the move isn't possible for Corentin Guinness. Is looking further back, Wojciech Savidovic, 17th place in pro class at the moment, and well, he's right up behind Morgan Butler, who is also having a bit of a tough time of it today. At least 35th in qualifying, one of the drivers I believe that did not set itself a time. Indeed, he didn't. So he had to try and recover the situation here in race 1. Lots of back of grid penalties, or rather qualifying ban penalties coming through for this one, which is why we saw a lot of cars not take any qualifying lap. Here's Damien Harris and Lee Berridge attempting to go side by side through the final corner.
Yeah, Lee Berridge trying to make the move there as they come onto the start-finish straight 3 and a bit minutes to go. And that mistake from Guinness there at Honda when we saw him just going wide with his teammate behind, that lost just a crucial couple of tenths of a second there for Guinness, and with just 3 minutes to go that could prove critical. We've seen McFarlane manage these situations so well, and Guinness is yeah, little mistakes like that, McFarlane will punish you for it.
He will. And well, let's see how this one progresses, shall we? Because we are just a handful of laps away from the end now. And there's the pass attempt being made. Lee Berridge. Well, we'll see how he's able to try and pick through on this now. Looking to try and get some more points in terms of AM category. Boosted car.
So 2.5 minutes to go, and Steen Ledger in 4th there. He's in well, he is the filling in the Sim RC sandwich there, and yeah, I bet you he's public enemy number 1 in that Sim RC pit wall, because yeah, 2 sent not 1 but 2 of their cars into the gravel. Who's at fault? Well, I'm not even going to begin to speculate on that, but they were, as a result of contact. Let's just leave it at that. And you can see Ledger really has his hands full here with the Sim RC cars of Harrison and Guinness, and they're not giving him an inch.
Yeah, that was a great bit of driving there, actually, from Kieran Harrison. Went to the inside, not to pull off the move on his teammate ahead into Duan corner, but to just block off the option for Steen Ledger to slide his way through in that situation, because he had a big head of steam because of the double toe. So great awareness there from Kieran Harrison to try and block that one off, to sort of box Ledger in on the outside of the circuit there, having only one option and not the most ideal one either. So great teamwork between the 2 Sim RC cars, and well, they've got a Sim RC car behind Jürgen Frank as well, who's been in a part of that team for seems like forever at this point.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah, so Jürgen Frank running in the
I suppose
top 5 there.
Like the early seasons of Neo, Jürgen was still a part of that team. It was yeah, he's definitely a veteran.
Certainly is, yeah. And I tell you, it's been a great run as well from Miguel Freitas for Impulse Racing. He's there in 7th position, and he's right there in this lead train. So if anything goes wrong on the last lap, he's there to get a huge haul of points as the 999, the man from Porto in Portugal. But McFarlane has managed this very well. I think this is going to be quite a strong lap in McFarlane's favour. It was down to about half a second, the gap. It's now about 7 tenths. Let's see what the lap times are as well. And actually, Guinness has got a bit of a problem from within here as Harrison pops to the inside. He's right alongside it doing, and this is not doing either of them any favours. Ledger smells blood, and McFarlane looks in his mirror and says, "Oh, thank you very much. That will do me." And yeah, that's just lost the momentum a little bit. And here comes Ledger now. Ledger is going to try and stick that Pure Sims Honda where the Sim RC team do not want it, and there it goes again. Whoa. There it goes again. 3rd time now. Ledger contact. Oh, and Harrison into the clutches of Rodriguez. Oh, and again.
This time I get the feeling he was squeezed this time, but yeah, more bits of contact happening, and well, this final lap shaping up to be one where the elbows are indeed out. Of course, further back you've got the Pure Sim Simlab car getting involved. You've got Miguel Freitas also on the outside looking into this situation as well. Ross McFarlane running away as far as the race lead is concerned at the moment. Who comes second though? Quentin Guinness is not quite necessarily clear in this one. A good run from Ledger coming out of the final corner, or rather a poor one from Guinness. Might allows Dean Ledger to get the drag race to the start-finish line. It is relatively far down the start-finish straight here at Phillip Island, so that's what Ledger's focusing on. He does get ahead of speed out of the final corner. Here comes Ross McFarlane to take a race win here at in race number 1. It's side-by-side across the line for second place, though. Quentin Guinness, though, by about 3/4 of a car length, is able to get himself up into P2. P3 for Ledger. Lots of side-by-side making their way across the line. Photo finishes further down the order. Oh, I think if Ledger wasn't public enemy number 1 for SimRC after the first 2 incidents, he might just be now, even though that one, you know, he did get moved into a little bit.
Yeah, I think though it's when there's a pattern like that and you get involved, you put yourself in the position where you're involved in contact a lot, and Ledger certainly was doing that, and yeah, you know, got into the quarter panel of Harrison, and yeah, we saw the rest of the results. So yeah, I think, well, it certainly adds a bit of, from our first point of view, Connery, it adds a bit of spice to this rivalry between Pure Sims and SimRC.
Indeed, it does. But before we get ourselves to the unofficial race results, we will have to see who gets themselves reverse grid pole position for our second race of the day. We had 2 very low reverse grids last time out, and we might actually get the same again for race 2 this time around. 13 is our second smallest reverse grid. 12 is indeed our smallest, and it will be 13. So unlucky 13, not quite. It's lucky 13 for Benjamin Gregory, who gets himself on reverse grid pole position for race 2. Here's the unofficial race results from race 1, though. Ross McFarlane takes the race win by just over a second back to Quentin Guinness. It was a close run thing between Guinness and Steen Ledger, though, however, for those final 2 podium spots. Jürgen Frank finishing on the outside of the podium spots. We got Kieran Harrison in 5th place with Esteban Rodriguez P6. Good points haul for him. Same with Miguel Freitas in P7. Alex Torres in P8 with Jamie Rush with P9. James Holman rounds out the top 10. Dominic Cortum will finish in 11th with Stolzenberg in 12th. Benjamin Gregory takes the AM class win. He's, well, not only does he get the AM class win, he also gets reverse grid pole position. You know, double benefit there for Gregory. Neil Ferrier in P14 with Luke Rabia P15. Craig Williams in P16. Stefan Schlacker 2nd place in AM. 17th overall. Wojciech Svidovic in P18. Morgan Butler and Jake Blackhall rounds out the top 20. Damien Owen Harris in 21st, then Lee Berridge 22nd. Nathan Armes, after a early race incident, recovers up into 23rd with Marcel Fritsch in 24th. Jaroslav Sebula in P25 with Adam Watson P26. Daniel Martin 27th, Matthew Byrne in P28, Sam Smith P29, and Scott Malcolm 30th. Stephen Daly, not a fantastic day for the RD Sim Sports second team car of Stephen Daly in terms of his championship fight with Stefan Schlacker. 31st overall and further down the order in AM than he usually is. Paul Smith, involved in that early incident, does recover up into 32nd overall with Harry Fox 33rd. Pete Newman, Nick Clibbons, Rob Turner, Neil Stevenson, Michael Blake, Carl Johnson, and Bram Van Putten runs out the top 40, the latter of which they're again involved in an early race incident with the Pure Sims cars. So we are just about to head ourselves into, well, our second server here, and that one was certainly an interesting one there, Peter, and potentially we might even be able to have a little bit of a chat with Ben Gregory. Peter, you have, well, at least a little bit of good news. Well, some, I would say a lot actually, of good news for Ben.
It's fantastic news. Let's hear from him now. Ben, welcome to the RaceSpotTV commentary box. You were saying you're just missed out on the AM class pole in race 1, but we've gone one better. We've put you on pole. We've put you on pole.
Yeah, no pressure at all. No. Oh, that was so good. It's time for the smug face, I think, but yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Yes, we can all imagine Ben's smug face as well. I mean, Ben, last time out, it was pretty frantic at Watkins Glen. What was it like here at Phillip Island in the heat of the pack?
A little bit frantic still, because it's like you got a lot of quick big boys ahead of me. But I thought I've got the person I'm racing is Stefan. He's starting next to me. As long as I can get in front of him, I can just stay relatively chill for the race and not make anything too ambitious. And yeah, went with that, and it did turn out to be the best strategy because people were fighting, going off ahead of me. So yeah, this is hopefully getting my AM championship a little bit back on track again.
I think it certainly will. That's for sure. I mean, given the fact that you're winning the AM class there and then getting pole, you're going to have a significant grid place advantage from your AM class rivals. What's the strategy then going into this next race with that in mind?
Not fight battles that I don't think I can win, because I like it's. Don't get me wrong. If there was no championship on the line, I would fight everyone. But I know for a fact the people around me are a lot quicker. They have their own championship. There's no point causing stupid incidents with no benefit to anyone. So yeah, I just keep my nose clean really, and just try and do my best and stay ahead of everyone, I think.
Very wise indeed, Ben. Well, good luck for the next race, and well done on the AM class win in race 1.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Benjamin Gregory taking, again, AM class win, and of course, reverse grid pole position as well for race number 2. That's not the end of the interviews, though. We can bring in... Why not? Let's bring in Neil Ferrier. Neil, how did that race number 1 go for you and your RD Sim Sports team?
That was interesting. Kind of fluffed the start up a bit, but James done the job for RD Sims 1. So yeah, pretty happy with a couple of cars inside the top 15 there. Starting to get to grips with the guys that I'm racing with. Obviously my first appearance in this championship, so yeah, it's pretty good racing to be fair.
Yeah, you gained a couple of places from 19th on the starting grid up to 14th. Unfortunately, though, you did just miss out on reverse grid pole position, which went to the driver directly ahead of you, Benjamin Gregory. So that one is a little bit unfortunate for you, but what's your plan going into the second race as a result?
To try and get a better start, to be honest with you. I reckon if I can get a good start and get myself in amongst onto the tail of the faster guys, and then see what happens when they start going through the pack, and kind of just go for there. I think I've missed out on reverse grid by a couple of positions every week so far, so yeah, I'm kind of hoping I get a reverse grid slot next time. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes, because obviously you've got the faster guys starting just in front of me, so yeah, a bit of racecraft and a bit of patience, and I'll see where I end up.
Yeah, it feels like it's been tougher. Like the reverse grids have been at least quite a bit lower so far this season. That's just the luck of the draw, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see what happens as regards to reverse grid for race 3. But yeah, thank you very much for coming to speak to us, Neil. I'll leave you get back to your team and get ready for the second race.
No worries, boys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil. As well, it's great to get ourselves our drivers coming in after the individual events to come to speak to us. Gives us a pretty good insight into what's going on as we head into our second race. Which, well, given this was a morning session here at Phillip Island for the first one, potentially we might be getting ourselves an afternoon situation going on. Indeed, we might. Just having a double check. Actually, yeah, exactly. Well, 12 noon at Phillip Island for race number 2, which does mean, Peter, track temperature is going to be a bit higher, consider if we get the same sort of cloud conditions, which means the tyres are going to not hang on as much as they did in this race.
Well, we shall find out. I mean, that's one thing that Phillip Island is pretty infamous for, is tyre wear, because you're putting so much load through the tyre for so much of the circuit. And that's part of what makes it such a cool circuit to drive, or in the case of motorcycle racing to ride. I mean, there was one year in 2013, I remember, where they actually had to put a mandatory pit stop in to the MotoGP race because the tyres wouldn't last the full distance. So that just shows you the stress that can go through the tyre here at Phillip Island. So yes, it's definitely going to play a factor if that track temperature rises up a little bit more for this midday race.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We're moments away from getting ourselves into the session. The session has been put up by the race administrators, everyone getting themselves in now. So we're not too far away from getting yet more touring car action here in the World Touring Car Series. Race meeting number 5 at Phillip Island. Just checking in with you guys in the YouTube chat. Someone says just the touring cars. That's reference to something I said a little bit earlier on, Peter, with regards to the me being on the TCRs and of course the GTs as well. I didn't mean just the touring cars. I would hazard a guess that or at least it is my opinion that the touring cars actually give better racing than GT cars. Don't at me.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're spreading your bets or digging two holes, Connery. I can't quite tell, but yeah.
Well,
I think we're very lucky to have both here on RaceSpotTV, and they throw up a completely different. They do throw up a completely. I should be in politics. They do throw up a completely different prospect. I mean, the touring cars, we've got 3 short, quick 20-minute races, reverse grids, whereas in the World GT Championship we some rounds we have endurance, some rounds we have feature races with a pit stop, and then 1 or 2 sprints as well. So there's a little bit different variety. They're very different cars to drive, and I'm just going to sit straight on this fence.
touring cars are better though. I understand what you're saying, but touring cars are better.
Well, if Porsche build a touring car, then maybe.
Oh. Did someone Porsche Sport asked how many Porsches in the chat earlier?
Wasn't even the base car. We had the Alex Neller pickup truck as well.
Yeah, imagine that. But yeah, someone's already complaining that GTs are better and agrees with you, Pierre. That was Adam Watson. Adam, you're meant to be practicing for the next race, not chilling in our YouTube chat. But there we go. Drivers have weird ways of preparing for races sometimes. Do you have any rituals, Pierre, before a commentary or a race?
Oh, that's a very good question. Do I have any rituals? For commentary, usually a cup of tea with a bit of honey in it, to just soothe the vocal cords. How about you?
I just try to clear my head a little bit. I just try some breathing exercises and get myself ready that way. Nothing exciting, unfortunately. I wish I could just say I had this weird sort of superstitious thing that I always need to wear the same socks or whatever that some drivers tend to have. But getting yourself in the right mindset, especially for the drivers, so important coming into this, because you obviously you're going to have nerves going in, especially if you've, say, like Benjamin Gregory, you've benefited massively from the reverse grid. You're in a position that you haven't really started all too often in a series such as this one. So the nerves are going to be there, and if you do have something beforehand which will make it seem more familiar, then I guess it's pretty harmless.
My favourite pre-race ritual that I ever heard, Connery, was actually a fellow sim racing commentator, actually, and sim racer himself, Richie Hearn. And Richie actually was a very, very successful IndyCar driver back in the 90s. And on his debut at the Indianapolis 500 in 1996, he got on the podium. And he, I remember saying, do you remember much about it? He said, well, he said, I remember driving into the circuit in the car, listening to Shania Twain. So there you go. If you want, that's a great choice. Yeah. If you want to be fast like Richie, then you need to listen to Shania Twain before the races. It worked for him. Good enough. If it worked for him, it's good enough for me.
Well, I guess so. Sorry, I'm just keep losing track of things here. Sorry. Sometimes just getting a bit of a giggle fit. But anyway, well, we've got just about 220 left here in practice. Everyone getting themselves ready. Let's take a look at the track temperatures, though, and see where they stand, because we did bring up that point before we headed in here. It is clear skies, which is always a bit dangerous. Although 18 degrees in the air, 40 degrees Celsius on circuit. So not necessarily the hottest I've ever seen it. However, that is still going to affect the tires in an adverse way. It is, towards the end of this race, the 20 minutes that we have to run, it's going to be pretty sketchy for these guys.
It is 40 degrees Celsius. Is very, very hot track temperature. That's going to make the surface feel really, really greasy, really, really slippy, and the drivers are going to have a noticeable drop off in grip. The good thing is they'll be experiencing that right now. They'll be out there on the circuit feeling their way around. Some drivers prefer to just stay in the groove and keep driving and make sure they get the maximum track time. Others prefer to, get up, stretch their legs, maybe go to the toilet, whatever. These are critical laps here, I would say, just to get a feel of how the conditions have changed over those times.
Indeed, and well, given that we're not even at the hottest part of the day yet, potentially might even rise a degree or two during the race as well, which certainly won't help. But less than a minute to go then. Benjamin Gregory reverse grid pole position here in this one. Big opportunity for Benjamin is in terms of getting some very good points in the AM Championship. It's because, you know, he was the AM class winner. He is the only AM class driver that benefited from the reverse grid, so he's got at least was it 12, 13 pro cars between himself and the next AM driver. That's a good buffer to have.
It's a super buffer to have. That's like what Matt Bunn had last time out at Watkins Glen, where interestingly we had a few low reverse grid numbers as well. I wonder when we're going to get the full reverse. When's that going to come into play? Probably Detroit Belle Isle, probably. just to mess with the drivers, just to make their lives even more difficult than they already are. But yeah, 13th place reverse grid. Ben Gregory, he's, as you said, a super opportunity for him.
If there's going to be a second safety car of the season, it'll probably be at Belle Isle. But we'll have to, especially with a full reverse grid. But let's have a look at the starting grid then for race number 2 here. We do know, of course, that it is Benjamin Gregory on pole position for this one. And we do have to speed through it because obviously we only have a minute of gridding here. So Benjamin Gregory, AM class driver, pole position with Konstantin Stolzenberg on the front row as well. Dominic Kortum, James Holman, row 2 with row 3, Jamie Rushworth and Alex Torres. Then you've got Miguel Freitas, P7 with Esteban Rodriguez in P8, Kieran Harrison, Jürgen Frank, Steenledger and Krenan Guinness round out the top 12. Everyone else, well, they start exactly where they finished in race number 1. So you've got McFarlane P13, you've got Ferrier, Arabia, Williams, Schlacker and Butler down to P18, and then we'll cycle the rest of them through on your screen just so we can get to the starting grid in time. So just 10 seconds left before we get ourselves more racing action on the way. On the way here at Phillip Islands. It's been a fantastic event so far, and we still got 2 races worth of action to go before we conclude things here this evening. Engine notes will rise once again here down in Australia. Off the way down towards Doohan Corner we go. Great start from pole position. Benjamin Gregory gets away very well. Stolzenberg a little bit lacking in that one, but they have a big old fight going on for P3 between James Holman and Dominic Kortum on the way down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. Kortum, let's see if he's able to make any progress on the inside. He does. He's able to get himself ahead. There's Jamie Rushworth dropping back through the pack. Bits of contact going on further back, and cars are off already, and out into the gravel they go. Esteban Rodriguez, I think Freitas might have been also involved in that one as well. More cars getting themselves off into the kitty litter and getting themselves a little bit of rallycross practice going as well. Back onto circuit they come, using the wealth of runoff that there is here at Phillip Island, and of course the situation where the gravel in iRacing doesn't get your car stuck, so you can run right over the top of it. But down in towards the slow speed sector, in towards Honda, and then you've got turn 5, and then you've got turn 6 of Siberia, which they're coming out of right now. Apart from those incidents down in towards the Sutton Loop at turn 2, pretty clean start pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common to see the cars just dipping a wheel off and skittling off the road. And
oh no,
it's a MRC car again. Jürgen Frank's off this time. Oh, they've almost done the full set. Oh,
and that was Alex Torres, I believe. Contact with Alex Torres, resulting in that big off for Jürgen Frank. The SimRC guys are not having a particularly fantastic day here, especially coming up towards Lukey Heights there. That gravel trap has seen more SimRC cars today than any other type of car.
Yeah, very much so. But Ben Gregory continues to hold his position as several cars go off in the background and carry on full throttle through the grass. The circuit groundskeeper is not going to be happy at all. Ben Gregory, super start from pole position, leading in the AM class. Oh, we've got the R&D Sim Sport car off. Dan Martin twirling away into the grass and deciding to rejoin over the other way. Oh, more cars off.
Sebula having problems. I saw one other as well in that little fracas going on. There's a look towards the very front of the field. Stolzenberg completely butchering Honda corner there. Allows James Holman to slip up underneath him. Same potentially with Dominic Kortum as well. Kortum will have to try and complete this move on the outside of Siberia. Let's see if he gets the drive off the corner required. He does get himself a runner speed, and let's see what the situation is for him on the way up the hill gradually towards Sluky Heights. He does get himself ahead of Stolzenberg there, so fantastic stuff from Kortum, and the Stolzenberg continuing to fall even further back here. Jamie Rushworth, bit of contact door to door down into the braking zone at turn 10. Well, Stolzenberg's able to hold on to that one and actually allows his teammate Kieran Harrison, well, not his teammate, excuse me, but his fellow racer of Kieran Harrison to get back through.
Yeah, Harrison absolutely flying. A little bit of hip check contact with his teammate Guinness, but no problem. But he's really making moves up the field, looking very, very fast. Is Kieran Harrison up to 5th place right now, and yeah, looking strong at the moment in that Sim RC Hyundai Veloster. He's going to try and slip past Stolzenberg here into doing it. Would be a big dip. No, not quite. It's Phillip Island. Often you got to think 2 or 3 corners ahead. It's about setting a move up. Great opportunity is down into Honda corner, but you need to get a good run out of the southern loop and then down here towards Stoner corner. This is a really big, fast, big guts corner. It's named after the right rider, that's for sure. And there goes Harrison now, and Stolzenberg knows what he's trying and covers the line off very, very fiercely indeed into Honda hairpin. Oh, somebody off there as well. That's Dan Kortum. And Harrison's still trying to make his way through on Stolzenberg. I think he could get it done here at Siberia. Oh, yes, he does. Stolzenberg makes a mistake, and there goes Guinness now as well.
He didn't necessarily. You just kind of assume that Guinness is trying to file his way through on all these positions. That's seemingly how he does these sorts of reverse grid races, clawing himself back towards the very front of the field. But that was all triggered by Kortum just completely over-committing on the brakes into Honda, going out into the grass and having to rejoin back onto the circuit. As Stolzenberg gives a bit of a shot to the rear of Jamie Rushworth there, giving him the hurry up, and now the tag to the quarter panel. Well, Rushworth feeling like a bit of a punching bag at the moment.
Yeah, we're right on board with Neil Ferrier, who we spoke with in the break there, looking ahead to his fellow Scot, Ross McFarlane. Quite a lot of skiffs and scuffs on the back of that Honda Civic Type R for Pure Sims. And McFarlane hasn't quite been able to match the pace of the Sim RC cars of Harrison and Guinness as they carve through the field in this race. And oh, great move there from McFarlane. Or is it? Can he get it done? Stolzenberg toughs it out around the outside of Doohan Curve and does reclaim the position as well. So great defense there from Stolzenberg. Oh, but leaves the door open again. Oh, they're off.
Oh, there we go.
This is classic Phillip Island. I love it. You never know when a move's done or not.
McFarlane getting through, and now Ferrier looking to try and capitalize on this one as well. Stolzenberg goes deep on the brakes to try and cover that off into Honda, and he's done it rather successfully as well. So Stolzenberg only losing the 1 spot here in this on this lap. But 14 minutes left to go. Things still relatively frantic, it seems like, as Benjamin Gregory still leads this race, by the way. But the issue for him now is that he has Kieran Harrison behind him. He has Quentin Guinness behind him. Two of the, two very, very strong Sim RC cars. Let's see how long, if at all, Benjamin can hold on to this race lead.
Well, Ben Gregory doing a super job right now, but as he said many times in his interview, he's not gonna do anything silly here. He's thinking about the championship. He's not gonna fight it if another driver is quicker. And as you can see, he's got 2 very fast drivers behind him, Harrison and Guinness, as Gregory goes to the inside line as well. So Harrison is going to have to go the long way around into Doohan, but of course that then gives you the inside for the southern loop. So in they go then, and Gregory just giving them plenty room there. Very, very smart from the Boosted Motorsport driver. Very, very clever indeed, because his nearest competitor, Stefan Schlacker in the AM class, he's back in 13th, and he's got to avoid stuff like that. Oh, it's just about. James Holman tries to stick it in a gap that's not there, and Gregory just hangs on for now, and that's the sort of things he has to avoid, Connery.
Well, it was there for half a second, I would say, just being a bit optimistic. But on the brakes into Honda then. Still battles going on. This time Holman fighting it out with Rushworth. Rushworth hanging out around the outside. He is given room, so he is allowed to the inside now of Siberia. And gets himself, slotted in ahead of Holman there. And now Stolzenberg looking to try and, get himself involved in this one as well as a bit of a third party. Climbing the hill through the S's section of 7 and 8, and to Lukey heights they come. And Stolzenberg, he's going to get trapped on the outside here. Here's the battle for third place as well that we were just briefly looking at. And Gregory, well, yeah, he's letting a lot of these front runners go. I get the feeling, like you say, he's not going to do anything untoward to those guys. He's thinking bigger picture.
Oh, big wiggle there for, well, Nathan Amis is getting a very rude introduction to the World Touring Car Series, because another bit of contact there had a huge moment, just got back control of that Hyundai Veloster, and now, yeah, he's got flashing lights behind him from Morgan Butler. And Craig Williams, great run from Craig Williams in the sole Audi in the field, and holding up the honour for Ingolstadt and Audi Sport.
Oh, it's always sketchy here coming through Tuan corner. Such a high-speed corner on the absolute limit of grip in, well, pretty much any car heading your way through there. And you can see how the car's just struggling to try and keep momentum through that corner, having to try and push wide, maybe getting a little bit wiggly as the rear starts to break away as well. It's a very sketchy situation, but 11 minutes left to go. Stefan Schlacker's in this pack, by the way, and he's looking to try and slowly but surely claw his way forwards to try and minimize the deficit to Gregory, who's in the AM class lead at the moment. There's the replay of the 3 wide on the way down through there, and this is the initial start to the race, lap number 1, where we saw a couple of cars go off. We saw a couple of cars go off a little bit later on as well, which we'll no doubt see because Hugo's an amazing producer.
And this is what happened to Jürgen Frank. You can see Torres there in the Honda on the outside and gets a bit of a wiggle on it. Just sort of, as he has that moment, clips the rear of Frank, and Frank is just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Very unlucky. So let's see what happened to Dan Martin then. He's making a move here on Jaroslav Cebula and gets up on the curb and just tangles with him. Just carries that shade too much speed, and you're going in at such fast pace. You're in top gear there, absolutely flying, and the tiniest bit of contact can have the biggest outcome, the biggest circumstances and effect. My word. Where did Cebula come from? That's I don't actually know how he's done that, Jaroslav Cebula, at that part of the circuit. I need to see an onboard from Cebula because that's bizarre.
I don't know if we can get it from a producer's point of view, but I'll go back and have a look on my own because it might be the situation where he's come back on the circuit, the other side of no, not quite the other side of the circuit, but here is the onboard with Cebula. So this is through Duhan.
Okay,
there's the
so
contact.
He's in, and then he's trying to get back on the circuit.
No. We shouldn't have shown it.
Oh dear.
That is all I'm saying is that I don't want to live up to my reputation.
You're very restrained tonight, Connery. I think that was it's hard to say that was a redraw. I think that was actually a big correction of all opposite lock, and then there's so little grip that you maybe just, I think we could give him the benefit. But goodness, it's not gonna make Paul any less angry, that's for sure, after that one.
No doubt he'll be going through the replays right now, just like as he tends to do on his stream there to try and figure out what happened. But yeah, nothing Paul could have done there. It's just in the exact wrong place at the exact wrong time for that to happen. And it does happen on this circuit where cars can come back on at such a high speed after a big off because there's no walls or anything. They can just bomb it across the grass and hope that they can keep themselves in the race without losing too many positions. There's Benjamin Gregory, though, our reverse grid pole position sitter. Just getting out of shape a little bit behind Jamie Rushworth, and now he's got Stolzenberg over the back of him. But like I said, though, Gregory's playing the long game here. Not going to fight with these top pro drivers. Just going to keep himself in a solid, single-digit finishing position is the aim here, especially when you consider that the next damn driver, Stefan Schlacker, down in P13.
Oh, it's a huge one. Berich with 2 wheels off there on his Hyundai Veloster. What happened there? Huge incident there for Lee Berich in the Hyundai Elantra. Sorry, not Veloster. Hyundai Elantra. Oh my word, that was a huge one.
That was massive.
That was huge, yeah. And that coming back to right. Let's have a look at it then. So that's Torres again in the Honda, and yeah, that's just doesn't give him the room and just takes him with it into the wall. And who's going to come by now? Oh, one of the SimLab Hondas. I think that was Rodriguez.
Yeah, it was Rodriguez.
Oh.
That's one of those that we're very, very thankful that this is sim racing, because if that was the real world, then yeah, that would have been a big one. But the cars are all simulated, the damage is all simulated, and well, the racing simulated, but definitely just as exciting as it is in the real world. Yeah, here's Rodriguez's view of it. This one's not going to be pretty, everyone. Just brace yourselves.
Oh, it just the way that Berrich's car he didn't expect it to sort of check back on itself, and poor old Esteban Rodriguez didn't have much to do there as Gregory getting himself in the Watcher Steve Ledger's car. It's like he's got weights in his bumper, some of the incidents he's been involved with so far tonight. But Gregory says, yeah, I'm going to give plenty room here, and playing this one super smart. 7th overall. His nearest rival in 13th. There he is, Stefan Schlacker, just back a shot in the white and blue Honda. Oh, Gregory says, oh, he's handing out a bit of vigilante to Steve Ledger there. Wow. But coming back to that incident with Paul Smith, with Sebula coming across the circuit, that is how Corentin Guinness lost the championship last season. Very, very similar. Craig Williams made a very small mistake at the kink onto the grass and just sort of couldn't stop and torpedoed across, and it was Guinness who was the car in the very wrong place at the very wrong time.
Yeah, and like I said, there's nothing you can do. It's just the roll of the dice in that situation. You know, what happens. Of course, you can penalise the rejoining driver later on, but that's not going to give you your positions back. So yeah, that's just the situation. Thankfully, we're in the middle of the season. That wasn't a championship affecting incident that happens in the final race of the season or anything. But yeah, that's just unfortunate for Paul Smith. Yeah, but we saw Gregory and Steve Ledger have a little bit of a tangle there. Gregory, of course, we've said it many times, playing things very, very smart here. Probably won't even fight Armes here on the way down in towards turn number 1. Yeah, he backs way out of it, leaves the position go. This is how you win championships here. It's not just try and fighting for every single position possible. Yes, that's a part of it in some instances, but it's race management like this that nets you the best results sometimes.
Exactly so. And, Ben's coming off the back of a meeting where he really was, involved in a lot of other people's incidents, and yeah, just wanting to make sure that he's got this opportunity, get those points on the board. It's a great drive as well from Stefan Schlacker, it must be said. Up into 13th overall. He did not have the luxury of pole position. So, and he's actually, in terms of time, there's only 2.5 seconds separating them. So a very good run from the ever excitable Austrian Stefan Schlacker. Oh, speaking of excitable, Craig Williams getting involved very hot and heavy here with the 91 RD Sim Sport machine of Neil Ferrier.
The inside through Lucky Heights, and well, he's got the position. Has Craig overcooked it though? A little bit wide on exit, and struggles on the brakes into turn 10. Butler was certainly very worried that the Craig setup shop car was getting too big too quickly in his rear view in the braking zone there, but thankfully contact was avoided. Craig looking to try and get himself up into what is going to be a top 10 finish if he's able to gain himself one more position, and they're definitely for the taking directly ahead. Here's the fight though between McFarlane and Guinness. McFarlane getting himself ahead of Guinness in this one as well. There's ample opportunity for Guinness to try and come back at him, coming up through the left-hander here and onto the coming through on towards Lucky Heights, I suppose. Well, not the guys, excuse me. This is out of turn 2 through turn 3. I lost my bearings a little bit here, but here we go. On the way.
Similar. Yeah, into Honda they go, and McFarlane on the inside line as well, and needs to make sure he gets the door closed so Guinness can't fight back at Siberia. Nope, not quite. Guinness, just this is the battle, and this is, you know, the first time we've seen Guinness really properly troubled and properly threatened on pace. Amazingly, he had a strong race one coming through from 11th to 2nd place. McFarlane got the honours, and McFarlane, if he can get past Kieran Harrison, that would be a double. That would get his championship aspirations right back on track.
Oh, there's the send down the inside at turn 10 for Guinness, but unsuccessful in this time of asking. Not a lot of time left on the clock. 2 minutes left to go here in race number 2 at Phillip Island. Lap times are 1:38.3. So coming across the line, we should have 2 to go at this point. It's going to be relatively close, but yeah, 2 to go. And the weaving has started already between all 3 of these drivers. Of course, Ledger is a bit outnumbered at the moment. He's being threatened by Guinness from behind, and simultaneously he's trying to find a line on Kieran Harrison for the race lead as well. This one is a big ask for Ross McFarlane, but he's going to continue to press on here. He started 13th, he's up into 2nd place. Harrison started 9th, up into 1st. Guinness started 12th, up into 3rd. But yeah, this is looking very good at the moment for Ross McFarlane. Look at the run of speed he has on the way down in towards turn 10. Guinness is going to try and block off the line to get himself back single file, and actually that is a wonderful move there for Guinness, but can he complete it on the way into Siberia? Back end out for Guinness. He overcooks it and has to slot in behind once again. Top 3 giving us a good show in the final stages of race 2.
Classic Phillip Island racing there as well. So tactical and so much bravery required, and really exciting stuff. Harrison hanging on just about, but again showing you if you've got allies in those kind of battles, it's so important. It's, oh, Stefan Schlacker nerfs into the side of Wojciech Savidovic. That's not someone you want to pick a battle with, Steffi boy. And Jake Blackwell's going to come in there as well as Stolzenberg off.
Yeah, down at turn 10, it all gets a little bit too much, as the drivers know that, well, there's barely a lap to go here at this point, and well, across the line will be their penultimate time. So lots of fighting. Holman, Ferrier, RD Sim Sport cars all over the shop. We've got a battle for the race lead as well going on right now. On the way down in towards turn number 1, Ross McFarlane trying to get one over Kieran Harrison. Guinness is a bit slightly too far back to influence this one, but with a good double toe and a good move on the brakes, he could still make his presence known on this final lap. Ross McFarlane then, let's see if there's any move going to happen on the way into Honda corner. He's certainly got the draft, he's got the overspeed as well. Defensive inside line being taken by Harrison. Guinness sending it in. Oh, he almost tags around the back of the Pure Sims car. Now we've got turn 6 of Siberia. Not typically the best of overtaking points. You can certainly make something work. Oh, someone's just hop, skipped and jumped all over the circuit there. Who's that out into the barrier? Is this an RD Sim Sport car? Schlacker, I think, fell down the order as well, slightly as well. We'll have to get a look at that a little bit later on once this race is done, because the top 3 still haven't sorted themselves out through Lukey Heights for the final time. Harrison has got himself a good margin, but is this just Ross McFarlane sizing himself up for a run through that final corner so he can get himself the speed and the momentum coming towards the start-finish line? It's what we tend to see here at Phillip Island. We see a lot of close finishes, photo finishes. McFarlane trying every single trick in the book to try and distract Kieran Harrison. Not sure if it's quite going to work though. Ross McFarlane, he does have speed coming out of the final corner, but it's not enough as Kieran Harrison takes the race 2 win here at Phillip Island. But what in the world happened behind them?
Oh wow, yeah, certainly you're right. It's one of the RD Sim Sport cars, not sure which one. They were all battling there and nearly, yeah, caused a huge incident there. But again, for a proper rallycross jump going on there, as well as, oh, Torres forgets where the brake pedal is as he comes to the after the line, of course, as well. So another AM class win for Gregory. Schlacker in second again in the AM class and 14th overall. Wowee, exciting stuff. So was it Holman then in the 104? Does he get help from his teammate? That would be awkward. This would be the second time in 2 weeks we'll have seen RD Simsport friendly fire. And yes, oh my word, that's awkward.
Oh, back
2
across
weeks running,
in front.
RD Simsport cars run into one another.
I want to see the view of either Craig Williams or Morgan Butler there, because they were the two cars going side by side, and all of a sudden, surprise, there's a car jumping across the circuit in front of you. I'm not sure whether we'll have to do the reverse grid first, though. I'll leave that up to our director. But yeah, that was not ideal for the RD Simsport guys. It's just a mistiming on the part of those parts. There's nothing malicious in that whatsoever. It's just a mistiming. But let's have a look at the reverse grid then for race number 3. Will we get another low number, or will we get something a little bit higher for race number 3 here? There's 16. This wheel has a lot of momentum, not much friction. We might even get 19, so it is just a tad higher. 19 car reverse grids here for race 3, and that means that Adam Watson will get himself on pole position with Miguel Freitas on the front row as well. Here's the unofficial race results then. Kieran Harrison takes P1 by, well, just under a tenth and a half back to Ross McFarlane. Quentin Guinness, another great finish, another podium finish for him. Finished in third. Jamie Rushworth fourth, Christine Ledger fifth. Nathan Arm is in sixth with Benjamin Gregory. Another AM class win for Ben. Fantastic. And a well-managed race as well for that 113. Morgan Butler in P8 with Craig Williams in P9. Wojciech Savidovic in P10 here today. Luke Arabia P11. Jake Blackhall in P12. Damon Owen Harris P13. Stefan Schlacker second place in AM, 14th place overall. Alex Torres with 15th with Konstantin Stolzenberg 16th. John McCourton, Miguel Freitas, Adam Watson, and Rob Turner rounds out the top 20. Marcel Fritsch in P21 with James Holman P22. Scott Malcolm 23rd with Nick Clibbins 24th. Neil Stevenson, Michael Blake, Pete Newen, Paul Smith, Sam Smith, and Daniel Martin round out the top 30. Jürgen Frank 31st with Lee Berridge 32nd, Neil Ferrier 33rd with Esteban Rodriguez, Bram Van Putten, Stephen Daly, and Jaroslav Sebula rounding out the 37 starters that we had. So that's race 2 in the books then. We've got one more to go here in the World Touring Car Series for this race meeting. But before we do, here's the onboard with Morgan Butler.
Good. Wow. My goodness.
I didn't know iRacing was a horror game and you could get jump scares.
Well, I can... Oh. No. Oh, my word.
That's quite something, isn't it? That reminds me of... it's always scary when you have a car that rate of speed coming across the circuit. You know, another place where we see it, well, we can see it is first complex at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, first chicane at Monza as well. Is a big fan of those sorts of incidents, but turn 4 at Phillip Island is not one that would immediately spring to mind of something like that happening.
This doesn't make good viewing, really, for RD Simsport. Neil Ferrier getting into the back of his teammate, James Holman. And, yeah, just at the critical point, at the braking point, and that made Holman a passenger there. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not...
How would you rate the jump, though?
Oh, 10 out of 10. The jump, superb. Stuck the landing and everything. But, yeah, that's a small consolation. But, ooh... I tell you what, we have seen, you mentioned Monza, Connery. I do remember it in Monza in 2008, the 1,000 kilometres of Monza. Alan McNish coming, just minding his own business, going through the first chicane, and then a Aaron LMP2 car that had locked the rear brakes was actually flipping up in the air over and almost just scraping the top of Alan's helmet, just missing it, and over and into the barrier. Luckily, the driver was relatively okay, but it was nearly a really real horror crash, and it shows you that yeah, in motorsport it's we make it as safe as we can, but there are still inherent dangers And as you mentioned, sim racing does take those out of play, which is nice.
Well, we might have a bit of news because Adam Watson has said, well, this is in our chat. Well, this is awkward, isn't it? Drawn on pole, but have a back of the grid penalty.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, that's gone a bit wrong, hasn't it, Adam Watson? So I think that might mean that Rob Turner potentially is reverse grid pole position. We'll have to figure out what the situation is here into race number 3, but there we go. Yeah, what time to get a back of the grid penalty though, isn't it? It's reverse grid pole. Oh wait, I have to go all the way back to 40th or whatever it is for race 3. Yeah, from elation to disappointment.
Yeah, shows you have to behave yourself, Adam. No, I'm only kidding. It's yeah, that's a pity, but a long season we're going to see this. I tell you what, Kieran Harrison was sublime there. He really stamped his intent early. Just in those opening laps, the way he carved through the field, the way he really confidently made moves, it made it clear that he had such good pace, and that carried all the way through the race. And despite Ross McFarlane's best effort, Harrison getting a win on the board, and I think, Connery, that's a huge win for Harrison for his confidence. I think because he has had to follow his teammate home quite a lot, but tonight he's put himself on the top of the shop.
Yeah, indeed he has. So we're getting ourselves all set here for our third race of the evening, and of course we'll be in the late afternoon local time, 6:45 p.m. So the track is going to be around about the same temperature as it was given the same conditions in race number 1. You would have thought, however, but we'll have to see what the situation is coming into that one. John Roberts says Rufflecopter in the chat. That is an old meme. Like
Rufflecopter.
Rufflecopter. I remember when people did the fun thing with the text-to-speech where they did the swa 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 thing.
Oh, you're going to have to
Internet
explain
culture.
to me what that is.
Internet culture, yeah. Basically, it's some people would like donate to streamers or whatever and use text-to-speech to basically make hi, I'm a Rufflecopter, and then you just put lots of swars on the end, and it makes it sound like a helicopter rotor.
I see.
Overhead. Yeah, it's a really, really dumb meme. But again, internet culture. I haven't heard Rufflecopter in literally 10 years, so thank you for reminding me of...
Excellent response from Adam Watson. He says, if I behave myself, what have you got to talk about? Great response.
Yeah. Rufflecopters, apparently. That's what we have to talk about. My words. This has gone off the rails a little bit here, but getting ourselves into the...
We need to get a set of free... a fan giveaway, a set of free sim racing gloves with hashtag Rufflecopter stitched on them.
No comment. I'm not even going to protest that because I know people make memes happen in this series. So
well, we've just had one. We've had the what does it? We've had the car flying sideways across the track. It's a Hyundai.
Oh boy, let's get into this then. 6 minutes left to go here in practice.
Hyundai Veloster steering wheel, isn't there? It's got indicators on it.
The only more redundant thing is indicators on a race car, indicators on a BMW, same thing.
Yeah, I always found that interesting, Conrad, because they have no problem with using the headlight flasher.
Yeah.
To BMW drivers, and the indicators is on exactly the same stock. So why there's no excuse not to use the indicator if you can use the headlight flasher so liberally.
Oh, so what you're saying is iRacing, please fix. Let us have indicators, please.
Indicators, yeah, definitely.
New indicator
just so
model.
people can leave them on and forget about them, just for the laugh.
Oh my god, I was driving a lot today because I described this to you guys before we got here. This is why I'm kind of a little bit tired at this point. Driving for 5 hours down to Crawley near Gatwick Airport. and back in the same day. And there was someone who had left their indicator on. It happens, but the thing is, if we have indicators, that means by extension we'll have hazard lights as well. So
yes, and, a car in the gravel with the hazard lights on.
Well,
Maybe we
go.
can have simulated tow hooks for when they're getting the electronic tow. The tow hook pops out at the front.
Why don't we ask iRacing for airbags at this point? Airbag deployment. Should it be part of the new damage model?
Bluetooth connectivity in the cars.
Not that you would have airbags on a race car, but because you have the hands device.
Definitely not. Of course,
Yeah.
announced it today. What do you make of this announcement today? The Porsche Mission R concept car, electric car. If I'm right in saying the first electric car on iRacing.
Yeah,
Coming soon. Coming in a week's time.
That interests me because I remember iRacing saying a good couple of years back that it would be very, very difficult for them to implement an electric drivetrain, say for Formula E or whatever, because of the way the sim is built. So it's very interesting that they see that they have been able to get themselves a fully electric car in the sim now, because of course they had no problems with the things with the RS and with the F1 cars and the LMP ones, etc., and things like that. But to see a fully electric car in the sim is quite promising. So it seems like they've solved the issue they were potentially having with the sim not being built to deal with something that doesn't have an internal combustion engine in the gearbox.
Yeah, it is interesting that how I'm sure that's been a real challenge for the developers at iRacing to get their head around. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it drives, how the racing is as well, and also what I bet one of the biggest challenges will be the regenerative braking effect, because the way the car coasts into the corner. And the way that the brakes behave is completely different to an internal combustion car, so that's going to be really interesting to see as well. I don't know how it would. The Formula E, obviously, you have it in other sims. I have to say I've not had experience of how that behaves in that sim, but electric cars inherently have a completely different character the way on corner entry.
Yeah, and so iRacing have been able to at least model energy recovery, because that's a feature on the LMP ones and of course the Mercedes F1
Very true. Yes,
recently put in. So it seems like they would have had that nailed down. So it makes it a little bit easier for them to implement an electric race car. But either way, I hate to sound like some advertiser marketer for any electric series out there, but electric is the future. It's just that so it's no surprise necessarily that we're getting to start to see them in sims as well. It's I'm loving it at the moment. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. So we've got Paul here. So we've got a quick fire interview with Paul Smith. Are you ready, Paul?
Hello.
So we've got about 1:30 till we get towards the starting grid here. Paul, it seemed like you were very unceremoniously taken out of race 2. Just take me through it.
I was unceremoniously taken out of race 1 as well, to be honest. But it's been a night of getting involved in other people's accidents, it seems, and unfortunately, that's the state of motorsport sometimes, isn't it?
Indeed it is. Given that you're starting deeper in the pack for race number 3, plan of action very quickly?
Very quickly, that would be nice. That'd be one course of action that I would like to take. I would like to be able to finish in the top 25 for once. That'd be nice, but just avoiding other people's accidents for the 3rd race would be nice. But it's nice and cool, track temperature, so it's going to be a bit slippy on lap 1.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye out for people having issues. They had issues in race 1 and race 2, so potentially more issues in race 3. We'll let you get back and prepare yourself and for the race and have a final chat to your stream, and we'll see you in the race.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye. That was Paul Smith joining us here. Might join us in the post-race as well. But we got ourselves 10 seconds before the gridding procedures underway for our final race of the evening. And as Paul said, late afternoon, track temperature has dropped off. makes things a bit easier later on in the race. But like again, Paul mentioned, it makes things a bit more sketchy on the first lap though, as the tyres, well, you have to get themselves up to temperature. Here we go then, starting grid for race number 3 then. We'll have to see exactly who's on reverse grid pole position here, because of course we had the back of grid penalty for Watson. It is Miguel Freitas on pole position with Dominic Horton P2, Konstantin Stolzenberg P3 with Alex Torres P4, Stefan Schlacker. Good opportunity for the AM driver to gain the good points here in the third race. We got Jake Blackwell in 6th place. Luke Arabian 7th with Wojciech Savidovic in P8. Craig Williams in P9 with Morgan Butler P10. Benjamin Greggy starts 11th with Nathan Ames in P12. Then you got Ledger, Rushworth, Guinness, and McFarlane rounding things down to P16. Harrison in 17th with Rob Turner P18. Everyone else exactly where they finished in race number 2. So we're just a couple of moments away from getting our final race underway here at Phillip Island for race meeting number 5 of the World Touring Car Series. There they are, all lined up on the starting grid. We've had a couple of issues on lap 1 so far. Let's see if that's the case here in race number 3 as well, as we're about to get ourselves underway. Great opportunity for Miguel Freitas from pole position to get a good result. He hasn't gotten a very good getaway whatsoever, though. Dominic Gorton beat him to the punch in that department. He'll bring him absolutely level on the way down in towards turn number 1. Gorton now has half a car length for the race lead on the way down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. Stolzenberg on the outside looking in as well. A little bit of dirt being picked up by Miguel Freitas as he put 2 tyres out into the dirt there. Pure Sims car off. Pure Sims car off. Oh, it's Pure Sims friendly fire as Jake Blackwell. Oh no, this is a big wreck. Paul Smith's at it. He's had a terrible day, and I think this is deserving of a safety car.
Oh, track blockage there. Oh, there's cars all over the place. So, oh, no, oh, another point. That's the number 70 car there of, now that's one of the RD Sims for Stan Martin. Dear me, that was a huge incident there at the start. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
Worst yet.
Well, and the well, your favorite safety car is getting itself
ready. There you go, Porsche Sport. Yeah, the Porsche is there. The 911 GT3 Cup Touring, because it's not got the rear wing.
Mm-hmm.
Very important.
Waiting to pick up the leader as they come by the start first straight. But yeah, the trigger of all that, Jake Blackwell back across the circuit. Car completely out of his control, just a passenger and straight into the side of his teammate. Well, not technically his teammate as far as this is concerned, but from the same outfit from the Pure Sims, straight into the side of Morgan Butler and causing a whole big chain reaction behind. So safety car is out for the 2nd time this season. And yeah, very big cluster behind. I'm not sure, you know, it was a reactionary thing to issues going on ahead. I think initially is with Pete Newman and Paul Smith. That kind of sort of was the first spark that lit the inferno at the very back there.
Very interesting to watch for those who may be more used to watching GT racing on the iRacing platform, where we'll see drivers trying to basically keep the tyres as cool as possible behind the pace car. The touring car drivers actually weaving back and forward to generate temperature. Let's have a look. So Blackwell just simply runs out of tarmac and there is nothing he can do, and takes his sister car with him, and then all kind of calamity breaks loose behind. Both Team Mad cars involved again. So for Team Mad, it is not just Paul Smith, but the whole of Team Mad has been a disaster. So let's see here. So there's Paul Smith in the 33. Let's get in a little bit hot, and the whole field really checking up there, and it's just dominoes. All arms and elbows, as Innes Ireland would say.
Yeah, it did kind of affect only the final third of the field, I guess, in that big situation
there. 15 cars involved.
Yeah, but I would say but that's in comparison to what we saw at the Watkins Glen last time, I guess, because that was half the field pretty much there. But yeah, that's the reason why the safety car is available in this series, and we've got it out for the 2nd time this season. So we went the first 3 race meetings without seeing it, and now we've gotten 2 race meetings back to back. The pace car is out.
Okay, so let's ride on board with Adam Watson, our pole sitter who had to start from the back. Don't ask. And a penalty. So yeah, you can see all the smoke appearing. And does he make his way through without a mark on the car? Nearly.
Oh.
He does. Oh, he's on best behaviour.
Well, he was hoping for a bit of luck, wasn't he? Well,
Yeah,
was
well,
that
he
luck
got it.
or was that
Wow.
skill?
Do you know, I think that was a lot of skill because he had to keep he had to step away from that temptation of just flooring it and actually letting the accident happen in front of you and then make your way through. But yeah, good stuff there from Adam Watson. This is something we just do not really see very often in road racing and iRacing, the way that the tyre works and the way that you use the tyre. This is fascinating, Connie, that the drivers are really having to properly weave back and forward. This is like the pace lap of a British touring car race where they're properly leaning on those front tyres to get that temperature. And the rears too, it must be said.
Yeah, I mean, of course, less important, but still, crucial to the performance of the car. But yeah, it's again not normal that we see safety cars to get deployed in road races full stop. Of course, they have to be manually called by someone with race control privileges. Daniel Martin getting all of his door panels.
There. Oh! Ouch.
That one's gonna hurt. Not expecting it whatsoever, and yeah, not an undamaged not an undamaged panel on that car. I would have thought. Although these cars can these guys can hop their way down in and get themselves their damage repaired. They do have one fast repair, so if they're able to get back under their own power, they can remain on the leading lap with a fresh car as well. But if they have to take the tow, then obviously they have to take the time to do the tow and end up one lap down at least.
Yeah, well, it's interesting watching these kind of tire warming techniques.
Ooh, Amos do a jump start.
I think that was always a jump start for Nathan Amos there. Oh, that's not what he wanted.
Oh, and oh yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
He
That's
did.
it. What a horror start to his WTCS career for Nathan Amos.
Yeah, just that slightest of roll, and the tolerances here in iRacing can be quite tight with regards to a jump start. Of course, in the real world they have the sensors in the starting grid, and they have the transponders on the car to sense any movement as well. And but there's you can roll from rolls slightly forward potentially and get yourself to a stop and then get yourself started again. But in iRacing, as soon as you have any sort of forward momentum, it feels like it will hit you with that jump start penalty no matter what, no matter if you've left your grid spot or not. So yeah, that's just the situation there. 13 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Okay, this makes the situation interesting now because, of course, this is not a normal situation for these drivers. The race distance is the race distance in terms of laps has basically changed here, so we'll have to see what the situation is. But green flag out, going to be imminently out as they head their way across the start-finish line. There we go. Norman Quarter off and away. Big battle for P2 though. Konstantin Stolzenberg versus Alex Torres. Torres going the long way around at turn number 1. Can't quite get anything done there, but as long as you can carry the momentum and maintain the overlap through the southern loop, you can get yourself a good run on the inside. So let's see if he's successful. Not quite clear. Now he's clear and potentially slide across. And now Stolzenberg has to deal with Miguel Freitas trying to head his way down his left-hand side.
Oh, a little bit of side-to-side contact there between Freitas and Stolzenberg. Oh, they're both very late on the brakes, but so is Torres. Oh, Freitas just opens the door there a little, and that allows Rebier to make a move. And watch Eksavinovic, watch out for him in 6th position, the multiple champion in iRacing touring cars. And yeah, he's in a pretty menacing position there as well. Also, Stefan Schlacker, 8th overall, first in the AM class. Ben Gregory just 2 cars behind. Can Gregory do an AM class treble? That would be remarkable if he'd be able to pull that one off.
I mean, it's certainly a possibility. Like I said, Schlacker's only 2 cars ahead, and a big swing on the way in towards the turn 10 corner as Stefan Schlacker. He's going to get tagged around. He's going to get tagged around by Quentin Guinness. Guinness is involved in that one. Benjamin Gregory gets through on it without damage, but that is your pro class leader taking out one of your AM class contenders.
Well, let's get a look at it then and see what happened there. So yeah, Guinness straight into the quarter panel of Schlacker, and then it's a huge big checkup. And Gregory actually involved there too. He has to take to the grass. And so
Rob Turner got through on that. Yeah.
He got through, so he's into the AM class lead now, 12th overall. Gregory did survive, but did drop a few positions in the process, whereas Schlacker, well, he was not so lucky.
Oh, Schlacker's off again. Schlacker's off again.
Oh.
He's out into the gravel. Oh, for the Butler Pal Motorsports car. It's been a terrible, terrible race number 3. And unfortunately, it's a bit of race spot on race spot collision here because that's Paul Smith tagging him around. Paul lost it on the brakes there. Back end broke away. And it just collects Schlacker. But that's going to be a bit awkward.
Yep. It's a bit awkward. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I'm so glad we're in the safety of this sanctuary of the commentary box, Connery. Goodness me. Well, Ben Gregory has lost another couple of places, so Rob Turner in a good position in the AM class here. Dan Cortum out front, still in the Full Send Racing Honda. And look at Kieran Harrison already. He's up into 8th. He's made great moves.
Well, it's me and Hugo as directors of the company that will have to be dealing with that later, so that's going to be interesting. But less than 10 minutes to go, everyone. I'll see everyone keeping themselves tight together, of course, due to the safety car and the single file restart that we had. Here's Alex Torres, the second place at the moment. Freitas bearing down on him, looking towards left-hand side on the way in towards turn number 1. There's about a car's width of a gap there, as you can see how nervous they are on the way through the first turn there. That's just, you know, them lifting off the throttle. But of course, once you lift off the throttle here on these touring cars, the back end just gets very, very loose, which is why you're seeing those cars just sort of, you know, fishtail out a little bit as they're trying to modulate the throttle through the high-speed turns.
Yeah, and that's why you often see them just doing a little bit of left foot braking to try and calm the rear down a little bit. As Freitas having another big look, but you know, the front wheels are doing they're taking all of the power, they're doing all of the steering. The rear wheels are simply there to stop the rear from dragging along the ground, and that means that there's very little weight over at the engine, of course, in the front as well. So very, very, very little weight on the rear, and therefore it can really skip and skate around.
Indeed it does, and well, let's have a look. Well, this is the sort of front-running pack at the moment of Dominic Cortum, Alex Torres, Miguel Freitas, Stolzenberg, Rabia, Savidovic. And, well, you have to look all the way down to P8, P9 for Kieran Harrison, Ross McFarlane, and they're involved in a little bit of a battle right now because they're trying to both get themselves past Craig Williams, who's holding on rather well. Of course, he is the only Audi RS3 in this race, and well, in this entire series. So they're going to be leaning on each other on the outside of last turn. Well, all is pretty fair, and they're going to do the drag race on the way down in towards turn number 1. And Kieran Harrison's going to get a little bit of help here from Ross McFarlane. As big crash down the back straight.
Guinness again! I don't believe it.
What has gone on there? I have no idea. What causes an incident like that down the front straight?
Well,
Guinness is terminally damaged.
Oh, Gregory loses it and gets into him. Guinness, the innocent party, as is Damien Owen Harris. Nowhere for him to go. And I think one of the RD Sim Sport cars, I think it was Stephen Daly, couldn't make his way through either. Oh my word. Yeah, poor old Lee Berridge sticks a wheel in the gravel, spins round and takes Guinness with him. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, nowhere for Damien Owen Harris to go either.
Indeed, and oh my word, Jake Blackall just got through on that by a skin of his teeth as well. Oh, but yeah. Oh, that was... I'm just looking back at my own view. That was pretty scary. At such a high-speed part of the circuit as well. You know, full throttle down the pit straight, and you're just not expecting an incident like that to happen. He's the on-board with Jake Blackall, sees it happen ahead of him, wrenches the wheel to the left. Oh, lucky.
There was a piece of pastry could have got in between there, maybe. Well. Ooh. And of course, with the wall on the left-hand side there as well, there is just not much room to make it through. But nevertheless, they carry on. and McFarlane now, he's up into 8th, Harrison up into 6th, so this has really been a great night at the office for Kieran Harrison. And isn't it funny how we came into this meeting, Connery, and really all the discussion was, you know, according to Gaines is the benchmark, he's stepped up to another level entirely as Berridge still struggles on with his smashed to bits boosted Sunday. It is. I don't think it's a lap later though. I think he's maybe got some sort of technical problem. Freitas onto the grass. Oh, and Torres also.
Oh, what's happened there? It seems like every time we're on replays, things seem to happen. As Freitas, I think it was an over-ego move, perhaps, on the way into Honda. That's why we see off-track excursions into there usually, and not sure what happened to Torres. Maybe he just inadvertently followed through on his tire tracks. Yeah, it was an overzealous move there from that driver.
Freitas.
From Freitas, excuse me. And
great eyes up stuff from Cortum as well, because he saw it happening, left his turn in late, let Freitas go through, and then turned in. That was very smart there from Cortum.
And it was kind of the mirror incident from Torres behind as well. Again, just overcommitting on the brakes, having the same excursion as Freitas. So yeah, it's a little bit weird one, having both the sort of same incidents happening in the exact same corner. But less than 5 minutes left to go now, and well, there's the race lead. Cortum has led. Well, not quite from the get-go, but pretty much from the get-go, as he got himself the advantage off the start initially. Getting himself a very good start from the front row. More cars off, though. Oh, Sam Smith involved. Everyone's able to gather up. Oh, it's Freitas again. Oh! Come on, guys. The touring cars.
Over the grass. Oh. Dear, that's Sebula making a very interesting move. 2 wheels on the grass, Kevin Estre style on Watson, and Watson just lets the cadence brakes and just lets the brake off a little bit to try and get the move back on Sebula. Sebula now got his nose up the inside for Siberia. Watson gives him plenty of room, and Moore actually runs wide a little bit, and Sebula goes back again. This is why I love Phillip Island. What a racetrack this is.
Yeah, this is great stuff, and well, here's Jake Blackhall. He already gotten away from an incident by the skin of his teeth once coming down the pit straight, and well, he has a cluster of cars ahead of him that he can now get himself involved in. Is what's going on up here. This is like Rabia and Kieran Harrison potentially, yes it was, and now Ross McFarlane and Steen Ledger, the 2 Pure Sims esports cars, looking to try and find a way through at this stage. They've gotten themselves well, teamwork makes the dream work. Let's see if they can work together to try and get past Rabia, potentially even Harrison a little bit later on as well. Oh, close to contact coming down the pit straight, but McFarlane has been able to find his way towards the outside at turn number 1. He can carry the momentum through and is very successful at doing so. Slots himself ahead, position gained by Ross McFarlane. Now eyes focused ahead to see how far down the road that he can get. Steen Ledger, though, he's still knocking on the door of Rabia here. Rabia getting actually good traction off the corner, might be able to challenge McFarlane down in towards the into Honda if he gets the positioning right. Let's see. Rabia nose to the inside, comes back across the circuit. Ledger's looking his way around the outside now as well. Opportunistic move, but it opens the door to Jürgen Frank as he now gets himself as part of the party on the way through Siberia. And well, he has room to slot in here and get himself back single file. So lots of action to look at. You've got a top 4 trainer cars as well that might get a little bit spicy at the end of this one.
Steen Ledger there, he just says, you know, I will, you know, Jürgen Frank put himself on the outside of Ledger, and I think Ledger is definitely setting his stall out, saying, you know, if you're on my outside, I will park it on your door panel, and you know, do not expect anything else. He's almost becoming, if Pure Sims were an ice hockey team, I mean, Ross McFarlane, he'd be the Wayne Gretzky, but Steen Ledger, he's definitely the enforcer. He's the hard man of the team.
I don't watch hockey, so I have no idea what this
very good. He was the guy that scored all the goals, and the enforcer's the guy that had the fights.
Ah, right. Okay. There we go.
In short, yeah.
Crash course in ice hockey from the guy. But down towards turn number 1 then for these guys. What time did they cross the line? Didn't quite see, so it might be marginal in terms of whether we get an extra lap or not. Look, Arabia had a big issue with the slide. There was a lot of smoke in the background there, and it dropped him further back through the order. Now he's trying to defend from Jürgen Frank, who's simultaneously trying to defend from Jamie Rushworth as well. But looking back towards the front of the field, because we have Craig Williams, who's trying to get that Audi up into a podium, but you got the race lead as well. Corton's been punted up. Caught him off with a big incident into the barrier as he goes. He's not going to win this race now. It's in Stolzenberg's court as he sent him across the circuit. We've got Craig Williams and Kieran Harrison fighting out for P2. Harrison able to hold on to that second place for now, but that's the second of that type of incident that we saw in towards Honda corner. Once in race 2, it was between 2 RD SimSport teammates. This time it's the race lead between 2 different teams. It sends that full send car into the wall, into the tyre barriers. Checkered flag will be out at the end of this lap. This is the last lap as it's Craig Williams. He's fallen off the circuit, comes back onto the circuit, straight back into the path of Ross McFarlane, which triggers a 3-wide situation on the way in towards the final couple of corners. In and amongst that grouping, it's absolute chaos here at the end of race 3 of race meeting number 5 at Phillip Island for the World Touring Car Series. Slow car out there on circuit as well. It's Konstantin Stolzenberg that wins the event here at wins race 3 here at Phillip Island. Kieran Harrison second, Ross McFarlane in third. Oh, I don't know if I don't necessarily know if that result's going to stand though, considering.
I'm not sure. I mean, Stolzenberg, that will certainly the most controversial win of the season. If so, I mean, that last lap, the car in front, Cortum had the line covered, and yeah, you've got to. If you're the following car, you've ability been on the road, you've got to ensure you don't hit the back of them. And I don't think Cortum broke really that early, and yeah, pretty cut and shut there. Yeah. Game over for Cortum, and he led the race from lights to almost flag minus half a lap, and yeah, that is a pity. So I mean, and look who's in second place, Kieran Harrison. What a night at the office for him. But wait till we see this with Craig Williams. I mean, poor old Craig Williams. He must be having horror flashbacks from the last race at Daytona last season. Let's just see how close this was, because McFarlane did continue, and could this come back to really have an effect on the way the championship outcome is? You can actually see McFarlane going wide, and luckily he's got Ledger beside him as an ally effectively, and Ledger actually keeping the Sim RC car of Jürgen Frank at bay, allowing his teammate to carry on. This team dynamic, Conry, honestly, this is going to play out all season long. The relations between Pure Sims and Sim RC are not going to be rosy by the end of the season somehow, I believe.
Not at all. Very big cluster heading their way across the line there. Close between all of them, but what a crazy finish. Once again in the race 3 in the World Touring Car Series here on RaceSpotTV. Konstantin Stolzenberg, well, unofficially, race winner. Don't think that one's going to stand, though, if I'm being completely honest. Kieran Harrison in P2, Ross McFarlane P3. Dean Ledger P4 with Jürgen Frank P5. Luke Arabia P6 with Wojciech Savidovic in P7. Jamie Rushworth P8 and James Holman P9. And in amongst all of that chaos with the pro drivers, Benjamin Gregory, AM race win again. So he's done the triple in AM. Fantastic stuff for Gregory. Rob Turner in P11 with Marcel Fritsch in P12. Neil Farrier P13, Morgan Butler P14, Adam Watson P15, Jake Blackall 16th, Miguel Freitas in P17, Sam Smith P18, Jaroslav Sebula in P19, and Scott Malcolm rounds out the top 20. Alex Torres in 21st with Daniel Martin 22nd, Stephen Daly in P23 with Michael Blake P24. Neil Stevenson, P25. Craig Williams, after that final lap issue that he had, P26 with Paul Smith, P27. Stefan Schlacker, P28. Those two had a bit of a tangle, didn't they? P29 goes to Pete Newman with Dominic Cortum. Oh, what could have been there? He finishes one lap down as well because he had to take the tow. He didn't have, he had massive, his wheels weren't even on the car when he went into the barrier. Ram Van Putten, he was very fast today as well, but couldn't get anything done. 1 lap down. We've got Nick Clibbons, Steve Berridge, Damon Owen Harris, Quentin Guinness, big one. Championship leader, not finishing. Nathan Armes, well, caps off a terrible start to the season for him. So there we go. That's all 3 races done and dusted. We're waiting to get ourselves our driver interviews ready, and well, we can. One's already ready. We can speak to Ben Gregory. Ben, you done it again? How?
Yeah, it's a hat trick. I'm so happy. Honestly, I was not expecting that. Rob Turner was so fast, and I kind of feel bad where you got that little tap from behind, but it's racing. I took it, and yeah.
It seemed like everyone else had issues, and you were able to keep yourself out of it. That must have been the main thing today for you, because there was a lot of chaos, a lot of cars falling off the circuit and getting into each other, but you kept yourself out of that.
Yeah, that was honestly the main goal. Like, this is a track that if you get pushed wide, you are going to end up on the other side of the circuit at twice the speed you went in and take someone out. So, like, just keeping your nose clean and just trying not to get involved in anyone else's mess, I think was the main thing. Like, I was so lucky I avoided that turn 1 accident. I knew Jake was off the track, so I had to slow down a little bit more, and then he piles through. And it's like, I was like, oh, okay, that worked perfectly. So, yeah, I'm just happy. This is probably the best result I'm going to get all season, and I'm going to. It's good job it's before week 13.
Well, there we go. You got to take them, haven't you? But it's the second safety car for 2 events running now. How do they, how do you approach any sort of safety car, situation with the restarts? How does it affect the rest of the race? I'm very interested to hear from a driver's perspective.
Like, I actually wasn't expecting one on that one because I only saw that first thing. But you just sort of, it's one of those moments where you just take a second, just take stock of what's happened, see where the people you are fighting is. Like, that's great grammar. But yeah, take stock of where you are, just, and then on the last couple of laps, just get the tyres up to temperature and don't do anything stupid. Like, I heard from my teammate that a couple of people span out under safety car warming tyres, which was quite funny to hear. But yeah, just get your tyres up to as best I can, and then just try and be relatively calm. It's a single file restart. You don't need to be aggressive.
Yeah, we saw that in particular in race 2 for you, where you got yourself your reverse grip pole position, and you just kind of inviting the pro drivers down the inside and not making it too difficult for them. And I said at the time, you're thinking of the bigger picture, and it's netted a triple AM class win today. So that's congratulations on that. And well, I'll leave you get back to your team of Boosted Motorsports, unless there's anything else you want to say before we shut up shop.
No, just thanks to teammates who've been super great all season, and also everyone around. All the racing tonight's been really good around me, like super respectful. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you very much, Ben, and best of luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Ben Gregory, triple AM class winner here today, and well, Peter, can't get any better than that, really.
A superb achievement, actually, from Ben, and he did it really smart. There was a lot of stuff going on all around, and really played it well, drove well, great pace, and it really pushes him right back up into the fight for the AM Championship, which is going to be a real cracker to watch all season.
Yeah, I think so too. He's definitely in the thick of things now, but next time on the 8th of September, we head to Imola. That one's going to be a very, very interesting one indeed. Not a lot of space to work with through some of those bus stops, some of those sweepers, some of those chicanes. So that's going to be one to manage, I think, for these touring cars. I think there's going to be a lot of, well, we see a lot of door rubbing and elbows out as it is in this series. I think Imola is potentially going to exacerbate that. So that's going to be quite intriguing.
Yeah, it is. That's for sure. I mean, we had some great racing tonight. Imola's a slightly different character of circuit to Phillip Island. A little bit more technical, a little bit more kind of nadgery in places as well. And yeah, a lot of the drivers in this championship take part in the World GT Series who have been here already this season. So those who have maybe got that little bit of competition experience here, or recent competition experience here, might play in their favour a little bit.
Well, there we go. That's where we're heading next week then. And, well, it's going to be sort of getting into our, approaching our week 13 sort of situation here as well. So that's going to be an intriguing one. But that's all that we're going to have to say here in the final stages of this broadcast. Thank you guys, everyone, very much for watching. This has been round number 5, race meeting number 5 at Phillip Island for the World Touring Car Series. I'm Connery Maddock. I've been joined by the wonderful Peter Mackay. We'll see you same place, same time next week as we head to Italy.